God bless this house. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer. The taglines for this are fucking terrible. Like, true horror is back.
It'd be funny if Rob Zombie wrote them all himself, so everyone ended with "yeah."
They should, or
Well.
just reference some fucking weird, obscure 1950s horror movie monster. Yeah, so I am here with Shayne. I'm starting a series that neither Kit or Katie would take part in.
I'll do it though.
Yeah, so Shayne's the first guest of me revisiting all of the Rob Zombie directed movies. Already regretting this decision. One movie in.
Come on, House of a Thousand Corpses isn't that bad.
No, the problem is, So there's two of his movies I haven't seen. I have not seen Lords of Salem, and I haven't seen Three from Hell. But I also know what I'm getting myself into, because I've seen the rest of them.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen Three from Hell yet. I don't know why. I just haven't got around to watching it. Lords of Salem, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I remember it being kind of boring. It's one of those like psychotronic like 70s movies where probably if you got stoned it would be more entertaining. It's not as bad as 31. Like 31 is by far his worst. Yeah, it's 31 is legitimately terrible.
Everyone has always told me, they're like, well, if you don't like all of his other ones, you're going to like Lords of Salem, and for whatever reason I just never got around to it. So I was like, well, I haven't seen these other two. Maybe I was like, I talked about us doing all of his movies at some point, and Katie was like, hard no. Kit is doing one of these with me because he's never seen Halloween 2, so I was like, all right, you're absolutely watching Halloween 2 with me because that movie is insane.
Yeah, I saw Halloween 2 in the theater with a coworker at the time who was addicted to opioids, and he like did a handful of, like Percocet or something before the movie, and was like answering cell phone calls during the movie in like a sold out movie theater.
I know I saw House, Devil's Rejects, and Halloween 2 in the theater. I can't remember if I went to see his first Halloween. And that was when I cut out with Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I didn't see the first Halloween in the theater.
Yeah, I think I got that on like DVD. Cuz I was like, I guess before we actually talk about the movie, cuz we're close to the same age, which I know means you were probably obsessed with White Zombie as a teenager.
Yeah.
So like I guess what's your experience with like Rob Zombie, his music, his movies?
Yeah. I was into White Zombie. I mean, like everybody else, when Los Exorcisto came out, I mean, I was just like, oh, this is fucking awesome. I saw them when they toured for, I think it was Astro Creep in 1995 with that tour they did with the Ramones. I mean, admittedly, I primarily went to see the Ramones, but I mean, White Zombie they were good live too. And yeah, I mean, I'll go to bat for like at least his first 3 solo records, and some of the later ones are good too. But yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses, so I worked in a movie theater in the late 90s and also a video store. And we used to get these industry magazines that listed a bunch of upcoming movies. And that's how I found out that he was making House of a Thousand Corpses. I think this would have been in like 1997 or 98 or something initially, because it took forever for this movie to come out. But like I was like reading about it, and they're talking about like, oh, it's like super influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Spider Baby, which I was just like, oh shit, all right, I'm into this for sure. And then I can't remember when this. I feel like it was supposed to come out in 2000.
Yeah,
and then
I don't think it. I think it got released officially in like 2003 or some shit. Like it was finished in 2000 and then not released until 2003 because there was like a big fight with Universal about it.
yeah, because initially it got an NC-17 rating and they shelved it. I think they were just like, oh, fuck this. But yeah, it eventually came out, and because the trailer for it came out years ahead of the movie,
Yeah.
and I remember watching it on shitty dial-up on the House of a Thousand Corpses website, and still being like, oh man, I want to see this. And like, it by the time it went to the theater, it had been edited down to get an R rating, and I think they've never released an unrated version of it or the director's cut version. But I think I don't know if that's even aired before, so I don't know if the movie makes any more sense, or it's just they cut out a bunch of like nudity and gore.
So I was reading that he is screened like a, I don't know, 140-minute cut instead of like the 100 or hour 40-minute cut.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think the theatrical release is like an hour and a half.
It's an hour and a half, and I think there was an hour 40-minute cut that he'd screened once at some film festival in like South America somewhere. That like mostly I think just had like, because I know in the commentary he talked about like filming most of the scenes twice because he knew there was going to be issues with like the studio and MPAA. So there's like heavier gore scenes and then ones where there's like none. And then like he would film scenes where it was like all in red and then film them like without the red just because he was like, I know this is going to be a fucking headache when it comes to editing and like ratings and shit. And so I think the thing I saw said there's like because there's like, he talks about in the commentary that there was like an ongoing storyline in the movie about the skunk ape. Only mentioned once that like all that's cut out. There was like an entire, I think, preamble with Captain Spaulding where like some teenagers like showed up at his fucking little gas station and shit. Like just like nothing necessarily like plot wise, just sort of like these tangential side things that he just cut out. And I've always been like interested to see whatever his director's cut would be because it's just always like talked about when this movie is mentioned. And like I like same thing where like I was way into White Zombie and then like I never clicked with his solo stuff, but like when this was announced, I was like, oh my god, if anyone could make a fucking incredible horror movie, it's got to be Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
And like then like I don't know, like when I saw this in theater, I think the day it came out, and was like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. But I was also like at that point where I was like, you probably wouldn't understand like I only watch underground horror movies like Evil Dead, shit like that. So I had really like dived too deep into like real sort of underground horror. So I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then, like by the time it came to DVD, I think I watched it maybe twice on DVD, and I was like, this movie isn't great.
Yeah, I mean, I do like it. I remember when I saw it in the theater, it didn't. I was just like, well, this didn't really live up to my expectations. But I knew it had been edited down.
Yeah,
and a lot of gore and stuff had been removed because it's not real. It's the movie as it exists isn't really gory. There's not really that much blood.
Yeah, compared to what like Devil's Rejects and then like his Halloween movies, like it's pretty tame. It's most like it's like weird. Like I think I don't dislike the movie. Like I just think it's kind of a mess because it comes across to me like a director who has had like 30-something years thinking about like, I would love to make a horror movie. This is what I would do with it. And he just has like, I got this one opportunity. I'm throwing every fucking idea I've ever had into it.
Yeah, and there's too much stuff going on.
Yeah, and it's like this weird jumbled mess. And then like, he follows it up with like Devil's Rejects, which I still which I haven't watched in a long time, but like last time I watched it, I still remember like really liking, because it's a lot more like cohesive and like just bleak. And this just feels like a Rob Zombie music video with like some movie scenes thrown in.
Yeah, I mean, considering this is the first thing he had done for a movie, like an actual movie, aside from directing music videos in the the peyote trip sequence from Beavis and Butthead, which that's probably still my favorite Rob Zombie cinematic creation.
Well, like he also like he got started like as just like a set design artist on like Pee-wee's Playhouse and shit.
Yeah,
which rocks.
Yeah, he was like he went to I can't remember if he went to NYU. He was an art student at a college in New York, and I mean, if you go back and listen to early White Zombie stuff too, it's very like arty. It's not at all what they would become.
Yeah, they were like a noise rock
conceptual
band originally. Yeah, and I had not listened to White Zombie in probably 20 years until about like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I put on like Astro Creep, and I was like, you know what, this holds up.
Yeah, I still listen to that and his solo stuff all the time. I don't care.
Something about like I remember buying Hellbilly Deluxe when it came out, and it just never clicked with me. And like listening to Astro Creep like this time, I was like, man, it's real obvious that he's like the weak link in this band. Like his band in White Zombie, like the musicians in that band were so good. And I was just like, man, once he went solo, I feel like it just became too like generic for me, I guess. I don't know. But I saw him live during that album because I never saw White Zombie, and I think Fear Factory was opening, so I was like, hell yeah, I'll go to this. And like his live show is really entertaining, but just none of those songs ever worked for me.
Yeah, I've never seen him solo. For whatever reason, I just have never made it to a solo Rob Zombie tour.
Yeah, I saw it was either Nutter Center or Hera. I feel like Hera was maybe not functioning well by the time that happened, but like I think it was like Fear Factory on Digimortal. So it was like right as they were about to like fucking fall off.
Yeah, get really bad.
I feel like maybe the band Cold played too. There was some other like weird new metal band that played. But
yeah, Cold would make sense. Cold would make sense.
So yeah, let's dive into House of 1,000 Corpses a little bit. Like I said, like this one, like rewatching it, I didn't have as bad of a time as I expected to. The entire time I was like, I can't imagine like reading the script for this movie if it was at all like relatively close to what it ended up being the final product, and being like, yeah, let's greenlight this.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I can figure is just that he was super popular. He was super popular in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And Universal Studios was like, oh, he wants to make a horror movie. All right. Well, he's a prominent name. We'll give him. I forget what the budget. I'm not sure what the budget was, but there's no way the budget was over $10 million for this.
No, like so he talked about like how much of a fucking headache it was to make, because they would film a bunch of the exteriors and shit on like Universal's lot, but Universal would refuse to shut down like the tram tour. And so you would hear like the Jaws ride happening in the background of scenes, and then like just fucking tourists coming by in the middle of scenes and shit. And he was just like, it was a fucking nightmare. And it's like one of those things where like listening to him talk about it, I'm like, I can't believe you made another movie after this, because
yeah,
it sounds fucking miserable. He was like, like it even sounded like a lot of the actors just like got on his nerves. And I was just like, dude, you sound like you hate making movies. At least on that first commentary. I don't know if that got better after this, but it's just funny to listen to, because he'd be like, yeah, Chris Hardwick wouldn't stop complaining about being claustrophobic in this scene, so like this was a problem. Like it's just shit like that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, don't hire Chris Hardwick, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I know he was. Yeah, what was what the hell was he on? Oh, he hosted that MTV show, didn't he? That
Yeah,
dating show or whatever with Jenny McCarthy.
yeah, fuck, what was that called? I used to watch that shit all the time.
Yeah, what?
Singled Out? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was Singled Out.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was weird, like, 'cause I feel like there was that, and then, like, nothing that I can think of until this, and then all of a sudden he was, like, doing Nerdist. And then,
yeah.
now he's fucking married to a billionaire. So he doesn't
Didn't
have to
he?
work.
Didn't he get outed? Isn't he like
Yeah,
a sex pest or something? He got fired from that Walking Dead show.
well, I don't know the details, but my remembrance of it was like his ex-wife made some allegations that he was just like emotionally abusive, and like he said the same about her, and it just sounded like they just had a toxic relationship. I could be wrong though. Like I fucking barely pay attention to what Chris Hardwick was doing.
Yeah,
I just remember,
yeah,
I remember, or at least in my memory, it was one of those things where, like, I think a lot of people were just like, well, he sounds like a piece of shit, but also it just kind of sounds like they were just in a fucking toxic relationship that they shouldn't have been.
yeah, yeah. I don't. All I remember is he got fired from that Talking Dead show
Mm. Yeah,
for something.
he had, like, At Midnight as well. That, like, fucking
Oh
late
yeah,
night comedy game show thing. But they eventually rebooted with Taylor Tomlinson instead. Yeah, I don't ever. I like watching it this time. Number one, like I don't think I had watched this in easily 20 years. Like it had probably since right around the time the DVD came out. I had probably not revisited it, so I forgot Rainn Wilson was in it.
yeah.
But
I knew he was. Yeah, I remember that he was in it because I haven't watched it for a long time, but it's been more recently than. I mean, it's probably been 15
yeah,
years or something. But yeah, I meant to watch it. I meant to watch that and The Devil's Rejects when Three from Hell came out, and then I just never watched Three from Hell, so I never revisited those. Yeah, I remember Rainn Wilson was in it. I didn't know until like somewhat recently that Walton Goggins was in
yeah.
it.
You texted me that, and I was like, what? Because he was like on no one's radar when this
Yeah,
came out. I
yeah.
don't think it wasn't till what,
No,
like maybe
no.
Justified, or was it Deadwood? I forget what show he was on.
It it was Justified. Yeah, Justified is where he got pretty big. But I just he's in. I didn't. I it dawned on me that I was like, oh, he's the guy that gets shot in the scene that
Yeah,
people were like screaming at the movie screen in the theater because it was just that shot, the holding the did that hold shot for like 30 seconds
yeah.
before
I
he was
don't
killed.
I don't know if that's a reference to something, but like I do still kind of love that shot, and I love like hearing people being like, "Oh my god, it aggravates me to no end."
Yeah, it was so funny when it happened too because it was real quiet, and then it, during that scene in the movie theater, and then the music just dies off, and it's just he's on his knees, and then Bill Moseley just got a gun to his head. You're just sitting there, like Mike, like how long? And people are like, what the fuck? Shoot him!
It's so weird, and like he talks about in the commentary that it was like a fight with the studio where he was like, they were just like put some sort of sound effects in here, anything, and he was like, no. And like I have no idea if that's like a reference to something, or he was just like, it would be fucking cool. 30 seconds of fucking nothing happening and then a gunshot.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird scene. Bill Moseley fucking killing it, carrying this movie.
He is. When I rewatched it last night, I was like, this for whatever I don't. He kept reminding me of David Cross. I was just like, this seems like a Mr. He seems like a Mr. Show character.
Yeah, it's really interesting, like going from this to like Devil's Rejects, because this is so like cartoony, and Devil's
Yeah,
Rejects is so fucking like bleak and just like harsh that like I just the entire time watching this, I was like, man, this feels like I said like earlier, it's just like it feels like a White Zombie music video that's turned into a movie, where then like Devil's Rejects just feels like a real movie. And like it makes sense
yeah.
as like, this being like his first real like directing, like a movie directing job or whatever.
Yeah. House of a Thousand Corpses it does feel like one of those old, just crazy '60s, like mid to late '60s horror movies. I mean, it does. If I watched Spider Baby last night after I watched House of a Thousand Corpses, just for reference, because I hadn't seen that in I don't even God knows how long, and it's like, okay. I mean, it's so obvious that was a lot of where House of a Thousand Corpses came from, because it's like another horror movie with a house full of crazy killers, and like Sherry Moon's character especially is like very obviously drawn from one of the characters in Spider Baby. But yeah, and then Devil's Rejects, like you said, it's just mean.
Yeah.
It's just like a real mean spirited movie.
It's just, again, it's one of those things where I feel like it's just like probably because this was like such a success, he was just probably just given like the green light to do whatever he wanted with Devil's Rejects. So and listening to him talk about House of a Thousand Corpses, like all of the weird sort of interstitial shit was shot like 2 years later, like he just like was in this fucking limbo on whether the movie was actually going to get finished or not, that he would just like invite cast over and they would film these weird like Manson family like rants and weird fucking like shit that he would just then fucking put like negative fucking filters over.
Yeah.
And so like, and it's weird. Like watching it this time, I was like, God, this is just like, I don't know how people fucking really latched onto this. Like, I feel like if this was a movie that wasn't directed by like an already like known entity in like the entertainment world, I wonder if this would have been as popular as it was, because it's baffling to watch now, where you're just like, I can't believe a studio saw this and was just like, yeah, this like 5-minute segment where it's just like a weird fucking solar flare filter over everybody, this is cool. Like, just in the middle of it, some random dude fucking yelling about a skunk ape assaulting his wife that makes no sense in the final cut of the film.
Yeah, or the entire end of the movie with Dr. Satan and stuff, where it's just like, what is happening? Like, because that's for me where I was just like, this is kind of stupid. I liked it better when it was just the family being insane, and now there's like, who are these people? Because I guess it's like implied that Dr. Satan, the guy in the mask or whatever, was the mom's husband or something. That I don't know.
I honestly don't know if any of that is fully fleshed out, as much as he was just like, hey, this would be weird to do, because I guess his original idea was Hugo, the like grandpa in the family that's just like always eating and does like the fucking pussy eating joke thing, that was supposed to be Dr. Satan in the original cut. Like, he was going to be like the guy that the myth was all on. And it just seems like all that shit that after they get in that coffin just seems like Rob Zombie got fucking high and was like, this would be cool.
Yeah, well, I don't remember if it's on the commentary or it's an interview, but he said that sequence is supposed to be like Alice in Wonderland, and she's even wearing like a blue Alice, the dress. And he was like, this is basically supposed to be fucked up Alice in Wonderland, but it's just like the last 10 minutes of the movie. It just comes out of nowhere.
I remember even when like watching it in the theater like the first time, just being like, well, this is a weird turn for the end of this movie, and like there's no explanation for like anything that's happening. Even like when you get to like Devil's Rejects, I think there was like, if I remember correctly, like deleted scenes on the DVD that like reference, like, Dr. Satan is taken to like a hospital, but like that's the only fucking reference to like any of that shit happening.
There's a subplot or something in Devil's Rejects about Dr. Satan that got taken out because Rob Zombie was just like, oh, this is stupid, this doesn't fit. It's like, it didn't make sense in the first movie, it's not going to make sense now.
Yeah, like the thing is like, all of that shit is shot well. Like, it looks cool. I think, except for there's like that one split screen shot that's like the close up of like her face and that weird fucking red dude.
Oh, the split diopter shot.
Yeah.
I actually love that.
I like shots like that. I think that one just kind of doesn't look great. But also,
Yeah,
like, again, it's for, first time director or shit like that.
and it's like I think a lot of that, like that particular shot and a lot of the split screen stuff is him trying to like bite off Brian De Palma, because that kind of stuff, like Brian De Palma loves split screen and split diopter shots.
Yeah, he said in the commentary, because I listened to it at work last night, that I forget if he said 50s or 70s was like a time period where that was like super popular, but he didn't name like anyone specific, but he was like, I really wanted to do it because it felt like, oh no, I think it was 70s because the movie takes place in the 70s.
Yeah.
Where he was like, like it takes place in the 70s and like those were a huge thing in the 70s, so I wanted to use a bunch of it. Like that's the thing with this movie that's like interesting, is it's like, this is like, and I guess it probably happens with a lot of people's like first movies. It's like, it's just nothing but like being able to be like, well, this is clearly like a Tobe Hooper influence, and this is clearly like a De Palma influence, and this is clearly like him being influenced, like, obsessed with the Ramones. Like, you could just see all of his influences on it. And where, like, I feel like once you get into, like, later movies, outside of, like, they all have that sort of, like, his sort of quote-unquote, like, white trash, like, whatever feel to them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you get less of, like, well, this is clearly him doing this, and this is clearly him doing this. Like, once you get into, like, Halloween 2, I don't know, like, what the fuck he was thinking that entire movie.
Yeah.
I respect it. That's the movie that I always say, like, you know what? Like, I feel like this was his, like, real, like, I'm taking a fucking swing. And, like, I've always respected that movie for that, because I know everyone hates it. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like that he's just like, now I'm going to make a real weird, fucked up Halloween.
I remember, I haven't watched either of them forever. I remember the first one was sort of like, it was sort of the kind of like fucked up family dynamic thing. And then the second one, there was like weird symbolism.
Yeah, there's like the white horse with his mom and shit, and like, or her mom, like all the time. And it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're both on Shudder or something. I should go back and rewatch those, even though I remember them just like making me angry.
and like, if I don't dislike either of them. Like I said, I respect Halloween 2 because it's just weird. And like the first one, I think is just too long. And it's like, I don't know, like it's my biggest issue with him as a director is I feel like after Devil's Rejects, he was just like, well, this is my aesthetic and I'm sticking with it. And like has never really progressed past that just sort of like grimy, sort of like Southern, Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff feel. And like, I've always wanted, like, there's points where he was like attached to direct, I think, a Groucho Marx biography or like a biopic, and then he was supposed to do like a movie about a hockey team. I can't remember.
Yeah, he wanted to do a hockey movie forever.
Yeah.
I remember that for years. He was like, I've got this script for a hockey movie that I want to do.
And like, I was like, I would love to see him do something like that. And that's like when like the Munsters got announced. I was like, you know what? He's making a comedy. I'm in. I'm really interested to see what it would be for him to make something that's not like this typical just grimy horror movie. And then that movie was terrible.
Yeah, I guess this is controversial. I need to go back and rewatch it, but I don't remember hating it. I was like, okay, this is not a Rob Zombie movie. This is like somebody making a feature-length Munsters movie.
Yeah.
Like it's not messed up or anything. It's literally just he really liked the Munsters and he made a movie like he was like, I'm gonna make a Munsters movie that's true to the series.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a nothing movie to me from when I watched it. And like, I don't know, it's like he's somebody that like I love listening to when he pops up in like documentaries and shit. Like, cause like I could sit and listen to him talk about like his love of like horror movies all day. But I'm just like, man, like just I really want him to be able to like move outside of the box he kind of placed him in. Or like, I think the biggest issue is like he's always like writer, director, fucking producer, whatever, and I'm like, you need somebody to rein you in a little
Yeah.
bit. I think is his issue.
Yeah, he needs a writing
Yeah,
partner.
like he just like, and then it's like his cast is all his friends and shit, and it's just like, man, you need somebody to like tell you no sometimes.
Yeah, Sherry Moon is in. She's always the lead too. She's in all of his movies.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
I feel
wife guy Rob Zombie.
yeah, ultimate wife guy. I feel like Halloween is the only one that she's not like the main. Like, you know, she's the mom, but like I think she's killed off in the first one, and then like the second one, she just appears in like dream sequences. And it's interesting because like I was reading something where she said that like because she's in that the Toby Hooper like Toolbox Murders remake.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
like that's the only movie she's ever done that wasn't one of Rob Zombie's. And I guess she was like, I really don't want to be an actor. I only do like his movies because I'm married to him. And I'm like, it's interesting that like that happens, but like the entire narrative is that she like forces her way into his movies because she's like the lead in all of them.
And it's like the opposite. He's
Yeah.
just like, I love my hot wife, and I just want to put her in all my movies.
I think she's totally fine in this and Devil's Rejects. Like, I think she's actually pretty good in Devil's Rejects. She's a little annoying in House of a Thousand Corpses. But then it just becomes a thing where she's just like, everything else, like she's 31, like again, that movie's unwatchable, and she's just hard to watch in that movie. And like Halloween is like whatever, she's just playing like the mom.
Yeah.
But like it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know. Like if she doesn't want to do it, stop writing her into these roles, but I don't know. I think she gets a lot of fucking flack. Like undeservedly, although I also don't think she should be the star in a lot of these movies. I think there's much like anyone else could probably do a better job, but like, you know, good for him. He's like I said, ultimate wife guy.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't say that dude does not love his wife because he's like constantly just like, hey, the hot woman in this movie, Sherry Moon's playing her. Yeah, I feel like so Sid Haig and like Sid Haig in this movie, fucking again, just like Bill Moseley, killing it. He's so fucking good in this movie, and like it's kind of wild that like he's barely a character in it. Like he's just in those like two scenes towards the beginning and at the very end, but then becomes such like a pivotal role in Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, you think, yeah, he's kind of set up in House of a Thousand Corpses. You kind of think he's going to be a Charles Manson kind of like character, but he's just kind of just this crank,
Yeah.
like just a crazy artist guy who mutilates people.
It rocks because like all of his line delivery and like mannerisms and shit are like so good as Captain Spaulding. Like he feels like a real character, and I kind of love it. Like all of it, like when the two cops show up and he's just like being a dick to him, like I fucking love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was his? When the cop showed up specifically, what was the shirt he had on? It was like the pigs are beautiful,
yeah,
and
pigs,
it was a
yeah.
cop.
And he's got that, and there's some like, oh god, what is this? He has another shirt that's like insane.
There's another one that says, "If I wanted to hear from an asshole,
Oh yeah, I'd fart."
fart."
There's that fucking Tiny's cheap ass Halloween costume shirt. Is very
that was so funny. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then I guess like there's like when he brings like the cereal in to like eat when that girl's like tied to his bed, and he's got Agatha Christie's cereal, which I guess was like a joke that Sherry Moon came up with, and Rob Zombie was like, yes, perfect. Yeah, I met Sid Haig at a fucking horror convention at that fucking the Dayton Convention Center, and he was so mad that I didn't want an autograph. Because like they had, I think I don't know if she still has it or not. It may have fucking just like disintegrated at this point. But I gave Megan from Couch Slut, I had a House of a Thousand Corpses shirt I bought from Sid Haig that just had like, I forget, like some sort of movie poster-ish thing on the front, and the back just says everyone fucking dies. And like in blood on the back, and I was like, I can't fit in this anymore. Megan was like, I'll take it, and I was like, all right, here you go. And I think she'd lived in that shirt for like a year, like she tends to do.
Yeah.
But he was like, you want an autograph? I was like, no. And he was like, oh, because it was like one of those things. It was like $40 for an autograph.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'll just get the shirt.
Yeah, I always feel awkward going up to because they're just gonna ask for like try and get you to let them sign something, and it's expensive. Although the funniest thing ever was my friends and I used to go to the Chicago Comic-Con or whatever, Wizard World or whatever it got changed to. And we got there early on the first day. One year we went, and the Tom Savini was one of the people giving out or doing autographs. And we were like, oh, there's Tom Savini. There's nobody around him. Let's go talk to him. So we started walking over there, and he like saw us and picked up his cell phone. And I swear to God, he was pretending to talk on it. So we're just like, all right, well, never mind.
So walked over, slapped it out of his hand, got beat up by Tom Savini.
Savini, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he was like, it was weird because it was like, I don't even know if they did that horror convention there ever again. Because it was like him, I feel like somebody that was like one of the zombies in Night of the Living Dead, and then just like random booths of people selling shit. It was very weird.
I feel like we went to the same one because my friend and I went to a horror movie convention. It was in 2005 or 2006 or something in Dayton that sucked really bad. I don't remember who the guests were, but we just stayed there for an hour and like, let's get out of here. This sucks.
Yeah, I think I just like looked at like some movies, then bought that shirt and left. Yeah, he's really, that's the thing is like the cast of like the bad guys in this movie are all pretty good. I feel like it's like the way he wrote, like, well, which granted, I think you're supposed to not like them, like you're supposed to root for the Firefly family, but like, man, the fucking group of like victims in this are so unlikable.
Yeah. Rainn Wilson and Chris Hardwick are really obnoxious. Although the women, I couldn't even keep. I realized last night I was just like, I don't even know who the woman
can't tell
who
them
lived
apart.
is. Like who's? I was just like, wait, is this Chris Hardwick's girlfriend? Is this Rainn Wilson's? Yeah, they looked exactly the same, and they didn't really have any personality. They were just kind of there, and I don't know. It was mostly Chris Hardwick and Rainn Wilson, and then they get killed. Well, I guess Chris Hardwick doesn't get killed until the very end, but
the best reason to watch this movie is watch him just get fucking wrecked throughout the movie.
Yeah.
he Zombie talked about in the commentary how like Rainn Wilson was like down to do like all of his stunts. And, like, that scene where, like, they're out in the rain and, like, they're trying to, like, flee in the car and he just starts getting hit with, like, Otis comes down and starts beating him with that pipe or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He was like, yeah, he did that for real. And, like, whoever the stunt guy was that, like, hits him with the pipe missed the pad and, like, hit him, like, right in the ribs. And he was just like, all right, let's keep going. And he was like, Chris Hardwick refused to do anything that, like, if he had to do a fall, if it was over 6 inches, he wasn't doing it. And shit like that. I was like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I can see that. He doesn't want to mess up his face.
Yeah. Hey, he's got to go wait 20 years to marry a Hearst. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I really like, I kind of wish you had like, I kind of wish instead of following like the Chris Hardwick and Rainn Wilson characters, I kind of wish the entire movie was just following like the Firefly family and then just like people stumbling across them. Cause like I fucking hate all those characters. I would rather just watch like Karen Black and like Sherry Moon Zombie just like hang out. And like the grandpa's so funny. I was gonna say I would love to see more of the grandpa, especially his stand-up comedy, where he just like talks about eating pussy and then starts screaming. That's the only stand-up show I want to go see.
Yeah,
Rob Zombie talks about in the commentary that like they would have like this food set out that was supposed to just be like, it was real food, but it was mostly like props. And that's like, and every time you see him, he's eating because he just started eating all the prop foods in every scene. I was like, what a king. The just him interacting with fucking Bill Moseley, so good. Like anytime it's just there's a scene or two, I think, right before like the cops show up to the house, where they're just like watching the monsters or something. And like maybe it wasn't the monsters. They're watching something, and he's just like starts screaming at the TV, just like, I hate a fucked up family, and Bill Moseley's just like, dude, calm down.
Oh yeah, I think they were watching The Old Dark House, because that's another movie that was like super influenced by this, and it's about these like people traveling cross country stumble on a family of weirdos in a house.
Yeah, I feel like he does that thing in this where like almost any time there's like a TV, there's just some old thing playing on it, so I can never remember what's in like what scene.
Yeah, there was for sure a scene where they were watching the monsters.
I think the dad that's like waiting for the daughter to show up where all the trick or treating is happening is maybe watching the monsters.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
I forgot that entire storyline existed in this movie until watching it this time.
Yeah, to be fair, the storyline was about 5 minutes worth of movie.
Yeah, it's so forgettable.
Yeah, because he calls the police. They talk to Spaulding. Then they go to the farm and just immediately get blown away.
Him interacting with Walton Goggins is so weird because like Walter Goggins is like acting his ass off, and I feel like that old guy is just kind of like, okay. Yeah. Like it's such a weird dynamic between those two. But Walter Goggins being like, my ex-girlfriend's Cocker Spaniel bit me. This is a big ass Cocker Spaniel. Like it's
and then he was the dad. I've definitely seen him before.
No, yeah,
but anyway, the dad is just kind of like Abe Simpson.
I recognize him, but I can never. I don't know what from. And that's what I feel like a bunch of his movies. I'm like, hey, I recognize that guy from something.
Oh yeah, I just looked him up. He was the old version of it. He was the old man version of what is his name? Yeah, Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan at the beginning and the end.
Oh, so yeah, he was in Bubba Hotep. He's in Crocodile, the Humanoids from the Deep remake. Pretty bad.
I don't think I even knew they remade. I like the original one a lot. I don't think I even knew they remade it.
The remake is in the 90s, so you know it's not great already. But like they just straight up use most of the footage of the scene at the dock from the original one in the remake. And it's fucking baffling. It's weird. Katie and I watched it for an episode, and I don't know. It's not like the most unwatchable thing I've ever seen, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, it was a show. It was made for Showtime.
Yeah, it feels like it.
A made for Showtime movie in the 1990s would be, if it wasn't like a skin flick, it was definitely horrible.
I kind of wish they did more with Matthew McGorry as Tiny in both of these movies.
Oh yeah,
because dude, in general, I've heard because he was in some movie Kit and I did, maybe The Evil Within, early on in the podcast, that was one of the worst movies. And everything I've ever read is he seemed like he was an extremely nice dude. Yeah,
well, he used to be on Howard Stern a lot, and
he
was he was on a lot of the in the 90s. He turned up on Howard Stern quite a bit. He seemed like a cool, hey, I got this, I'm just super tall.
Yeah. And I am interested because like I said, I watched 3 from Hell, and I know he had obviously passed away by that point, but my memory of Devil's Rejects is he was ideally the only one that survived. Because, you know, at the end of Devil's Rejects, they're all, you know, until Three from Hell was announced, presumed that they died in that shootout. And then, like, their
Yeah.
house burns down and all that shit. And, like, my memory is that he's kind of seen walking around at some point after the house burns down.
I forget exactly what it's something like that. Yeah.
I'll find out soon because I got to watch that next. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else about this movie that you want to talk about? Because it's like, it's for me, I'm just like, I don't know. It's fine. It's an interesting first directorial debut, but I'm like, for me, it's just kind of a mess.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I do like it. I mean, who knows the next time I'll watch it again? But if somebody, I don't know, if I was at somebody's house, they're like, "Let's watch House of a Thousand Corpses," I'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of all over the place, and I think it achieves what Rob Zombie was trying to do, which is just to make a weird ass Grindhouse movie from the 60s or 70s. Because a lot of those movies are incoherent like that too. But I mean, he was more intentional about it, I think. But and I think that's kind of why it seems like it's trying too hard sometimes. It seems a little forced, like he's trying to emulate something instead of creating something weird just for the sake of being weird.
Yeah, I honestly, I would be curious if there's like a script. There's got to be. The script's got to be online somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure
like,
it is.
Listening to him talk about it, where it sounds like a lot of this movie came together, like post a primary filming. Like I said, like almost all the interstitials was just shit he just like did while they were like in limbo, and then just edited into the movie. And like I'm curious what the script like this was for, because like I said, like if the script was anything like the final product, I can't imagine someone greenlighting it, because it had to, like, it would read so fucking baffling.
Yeah, especially if it was an hour longer.
Yeah.
And there's a whole plot with the skunk ape.
Yeah.
And more Dr. Satan stuff. Yeah, it would have been mind-boggling.
Well, in the commentary he talks about like there's that weird interstitial scene that's got like the old black guy that's like ranting about hell being Earth or whatever. And he was like, yeah, that guy's supposed to be somebody that like escaped Dr. Satan. And I'm like, what? How would anyone know that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that stuff I just assumed it was colorful characters from the area.
Yeah, I literally, until he said that in the commentary, I just assumed it was just some random shit he like threw in the movie. Because like there's 40 of those scenes where there's just like just some random shit with like a filter on it that just happens in between scenes, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, this is just some weird shit he like threw in just to be weird. But he's like, no, this is supposed to be a guy that escaped Dr. Satan, and I was like, what?
Like, why didn't you just take it out?
Yeah.
Why did you leave that in?
Fucking makes some sort of reference to it, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. All of the Dr. Satan stuff feels like such a last minute add-on that like I think you kind of said earlier, like I could have done without any of that.
Yeah, if it was just, I mean, if it just ended with kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, with the family chasing the woman around and she kills them one by one, and and then it ends normally. You take out all the Dr. Satan stuff, and then it ends with her getting in Spaulding's car, and then Otis popping up. You just end it there. I don't know.
Yeah, or if you really wanted to like have the Dr. Satan stuff, like make that be a reveal at the very end that like is explained in like the sequel, because it just feels like he didn't know what he wanted to do with that storyline, but he just wanted to do that weird Alice in Wonderland catacombs bullshit.
Yeah, because all of a sudden there's all this supernatural stuff. Yeah, there's monsters in this underground cavern, and
it like I was so baffled watching it this time, because I was like, I knew that happened, but it was like, I was like, I forgot how out of nowhere all of this shit is. Like, they're just, the family throws them in a coffin, and now all of a sudden they're underground, and there's like some weird zombie creatures under there that, like, I get, like, I don't know, I never picked up on it the first couple times I watched it, that, like, I think Captain Spaulding says, maybe during that weird, like, I guess we got to touch on this, the fucking museum tour thing.
Oh, yeah.
Cool as fuck. If that was real, I would go there immediately.
Yeah, for sure. I would too.
It looks so shitty. I love it. But he talks about, like, you know, Dr. Satan was, like, trying to create super soldiers out of, like, mentally handicapped people or whatever. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, I guess that's what all of those people underground are supposed to be. But, like, there's just, again, no explanation. Just shit just starts happening. And then all of a sudden there's, like, a fucking giant red fucking Doom villain chasing her with an axe.
Yeah, and there's not even, you don't know what connection the family has to the Dr. Satan, because I assume that they know he's down there, and that's why they're putting him in a coffin and lowering him down there, but there's not, like, I don't know. You don't know what the connection is. Yeah, it's just this family, and they're like, oh, here's some bodies for Dr. Satan.
Like, even in general, like, you don't, until Devil's Rejects, you don't even, like, know what, like, Captain Spaulding's fucking relationship is to this family.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's just kind of there.
It almost, like, even at the end when he picks her up in the car, like, it doesn't make clear that he's, like, part of their, like, group. It almost feels like Bill Moseley was just, like, hiding in his car to, like, I don't know, do something. Like, like, Bill Moseley, like, looks at him weird when they're, like, driving away. We're like, I don't know, it's fair. Just fucking, just a baffling movie. And it's, again, it's wild to me that this, like, managed to, like, kickstart him into, like, a fucking 9-movie career. Because, like, I get, like, I was one of the people, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But, like, watching it now, I'm like, this is a real mess. It's just one of those ones that I watch and I'm like, I can't believe this is a thing that got made with, like, the amount of money it did.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume that he's kind of got a Kevin Smith situation going on where he makes cheap movies, and because House of a Thousand Corpses made a profit. I think it made a pretty substantial profit compared to how much it was made for. So I think they're just like, oh well, this guy has got an audience and he can deliver cheap movies, so just let him do what he wants.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like until Halloween 2, it seemed like he was pretty gold. I feel like Halloween 2 was his first real one that was like a kind of like a flop. It probably made money, but like was like critically pretty shit on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like he then is now like I said, I haven't watched Lords of Salem, but it feels like, 31, 3 from Hell, and like The Munsters all seem pretty fucking like almost like direct to video quality like movies.
Well, yeah, I mean The Munsters pretty much it was supposed to come out in the theater. Right? Yeah, then it wound up going straight to Netflix, and I mean I don't even know how Netflix's model works, but I mean I can't imagine that movie made as I don't know how much he made it for, but there's no way it made a profit.
Well, that, like, my biggest gripe with that movie when I watched it, because I remember a bunch of people being like, this is so good, it looks incredible, and I was like, it looks like shit. And, like, I know it's supposed to be, like, it's probably supposed to feel sort of, like, cheap, like the TV show, but I think it being in color and all that, I was like, it just looks, like, really rinky-dink. And it just didn't do it any favors watching it, for me at least.
Yeah, having it colorized was kind of weird. Yeah, it would have been if he just did it in black and white.
Yeah,
I think it would have helped.
I feel like all of the backgrounds just felt like somebody put up some like plywood and then like painted it. And I was like, man, this looks real fucking like lame. But
yeah, I think too. I don't know. So I know initially there were reports that it was going to be rated R, but I don't know if that was just rumors or what, because I don't know how you could have. I don't know how you could have possibly gotten an R-rated movie out of that.
I feel like when it was first announced, I feel like they talked about he was going to do like a serious version of it, and then somehow it just turned into like essentially it's just the TV show but with like different actors.
It's just
Oh, that and 31 are the two that I'm just like really fucking dreading getting to.
31 is just bad. I think it's really, is it one of the long ones too?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know back when we had Twitter, Katie every once in a while would like live tweet a movie on like the I Hope You Suffer Twitter account, and we would put up polls for what she would watch on Shudder, and Kit and I fucking fixed one, so it ended up being 31 was the winner. And so she had to live tweet 31, and I think she just gave up halfway through.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I watched it when it came on Shudder or something, and we finished it, but we're just like, what in the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's so shitty. The only good thing in that movie is that fucking intro with Richard Brake, just like talking directly into camera.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. I just remember Malcolm McDowell and Meg Foster in it,
and like the fucking weird 1400s like British like royalty fucking wigs and shit.
Yeah, and all the bad guys have they have names like White Zombie song titles.
Yeah, I feel like Richard Brake's character is named like Godhead or some shit.
There's a whole bunch. There's Psycho Head, Schizo Head, Sex Head, Death Head.
That all those together sound like a White Zombie song title.
There's Michael Redbone Alcott as Fat Randy Bumpagussie.
Somebody's got to stop Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah, House of 1,000 Corpses was fine. Like, I kind of like you said, I don't know if I'll ever revisit this, but it's also one that like, if I like turned on one of those like 24-hour streams that it was on, I don't know if I would just necessarily be like, whoa, I gotta turn this off. Like I might just let it play, but it's just, I don't know. It's not one I feel the need to ever watch again, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody listening has never seen it, it's on Tubi for free, and it's on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen it, I would say watch it. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty just like middle of the road.
I think it's worth watching solely as a precursor to like Devil's Rejects. Because Devil's Rejects is, at least in my memory, like I said, it's another one I haven't rewatched probably in roughly the same amount of time, but like, I remember really loving that, so I'm excited to rewatch that and see if it holds up for me. But yeah, this one's just a little too all over the place, which sometimes I like, but like just I don't know. I would though if he ever releases like a director's cut of some kind, I'll watch the shit out of that because I'm very interested. I remember when the DVD came out, I was so excited that like. They were like, oh, it's going to be an unrated cut. And it was just like the fucking theatrical cut.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. You can watch it for free if you haven't seen it. Shayne said it's on like Tubi. I think all of his movies are currently on Tubi except for like The Munsters, which is like a Netflix only thing.
Yeah, I think so.
There's like a couple that like that. And I think maybe 31 might only be a Shudder.
31. Yeah, 31 used to be on Shudder. I think it might actually be on Tubi now.
But don't watch that. That was terrible. All right. Do you have anywhere you would like to point people to go see your fake Rob Zombie tweets?
I mean, I'm pretty much like done with Twitter. I don't know. I'm on Blue Sky if you want. I'm kind of like getting burned out on that, or I'm kind of burned out on social media. Yeah. I mean, if you want to follow me on Blue Sky and see my bullshit posts, it's just Metal Shayne at Blue Sky. But that's pretty much it at this point.
At this point, everything's just fucking doom scrolling to just make yourself mad. So
I'm trying to stay off social media more because it's really, I mean, I like legitimately am having trouble sleeping just from like everything.
Yep. Same. If you're at all follow like horror accounts, every once in a while, Shayne's easily most popular tweet of a Rob Zombie song lyrics pops up in somebody's story. I see it like
Oh yeah,
I see it once every 2 weeks still on Instagram.
yeah. It's weird. I don't know. I mean that tweet at this point it's got to be 6 or 7 years old. But yeah, people still steal it all the time.
It's so funny. Like I feel like every once in a while, like one person will find it, and then all of a sudden for like a week, I see it like 10 times a day, and then it just disappears for a little bit, and then comes back like a month later.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I think I spent a total of 5 minutes composing that. I didn't think about it at all.
To be fair, that's probably the exact same amount of time Rob Zombie spends on his lyrics. All right, thanks for. I mean, you didn't really have to suffer. You got like a relatively decent one.
Yeah, I mean, you let me pick, so I wasn't gonna be like.
I think you were the first person I asked, so I figured it would be this or Devil's Rejects, probably. So.
There's like no chance I was gonna pick a late career movie.
I think Dylan from Diary of Doom is doing 31 with me because he was like, I think by the time I got to him, I had like 5 left, and he was like, I think the only one I haven't seen is 31. I was like, no, that's the one you're doing then. And no one picked 3 from Hell, so Caitlin's gonna do 3 from Hell with me. And I was like, I haven't seen that one, and somebody actively was like, I want to do the Monsters, and I was like, good, because no one's gonna pick that. And I think Lori from Queer Horror Cult is doing that animated movie.
Super Beasto one, because
she was just like, well, I only own like that and one of the other ones, and I was like, well, good, because clearly no one's gonna pick this animated movie, so let's just do that. Like I said, Kid said the only one he hadn't seen was Halloween 2, and I was like, all right, we have to do that, because I'd be fucking fascinated to hear what he thinks about that fucking mess. Yeah, thanks for doing this fucking weird movie.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. All right. I hope you, Robert, on your Zombert, but why?